Okay, so we're now on all of our platforms here. So we are broadcasting live for those on Instagram, and we are coming to you. This is a Instagram live pre-recorded for those who are on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So because I have a meeting at noon this afternoon, so we're doing this early today. And so welcome to everyone to Letter to Philippi Live, our daily study in Paul's letter to Philippians, usually coming to you at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time, 10 p.m. Jerusalem time. And this is an initiative of Letter to Philippi, newly formed Messianic Jewish theological and teaching organization, which this is our first initiative. This daily teaching program will be adding more programs over this month, including our Messianic Jewish review of books, and also looking to start other initiatives, including our First Day project, which will be a monthly Havdalah and Zikron Mashiach gathering, both in person and on Zoom. So we will begin the new week we will begin a new week with the Havdalah concluding out the week, and then having a time for Zikron Mashiach, that we will be having the remembrance of Messiah Yeshua together as both a local and as an international community through Zoom. So we will be starting those things. I said we'll be looking to get the Messianic Jewish review book started this month in November, and looking to the first day of the month of December, the first Saturday night, to have our first days get together for Havdalah, concluding the Shabbat, and then having time to reflect on the Messiah Yeshua and to fulfill the commandment of remembering him with the bread and the wine. So that will be, I said, we will be starting these new initiatives too. The Messianic Jewish review books will be starting in November. In December, we will start the first day gatherings, and then looking forward to April 23rd for the conclusion of Passover with our Seudat Mashiach, a full service honoring the life, death, resurrection, and soon reign of Messiah Yeshua. A time to get together, a service that I've been working on since 2000. So this will be the 22 years I've been working on this project for the Seudat Mashiach. So look forward to sharing with those who will be able to attend in person, and all those around the world who will be watching the stream. So now we'll get into our study for today, and looking at Paul's letter to Philippians. Specifically, we'll be looking at verses 4 through 6 today, which I entitled my commentary, Living in Union with Messiah. So begin reading with verse 4. Rejoice in union with the Lord always. I will say it again, rejoice. Here Paul calls the Philippians in this very familiar verse to rejoice, but not as a temporary feeling or an emotion, but as a joy that has staying power in their faith commitment to Yeshua. Paul's calling them to rejoice, to have joy, but it's not a temporary feeling, for those who were watching the World Series, for those who were pulling for the Braves, that they rejoiced when and were full of joy when the Braves won the World Series. They beat the Astros. So there was joy for those people, and I, as a Dodger fan, I had great joy last year when the Dodgers beat the Rays for the World Series championship. But Paul here is not talking about a temporary joy, a joy over an event, an occurrence, a sporting event. But he's calling the people of Philippi, and us by example, to have true, continuing joy because of our connection to Messiah Yeshua. because of our being united with the Messiah Yeshua, by our faith, trust in him, by our following him as our Messiah and Lord, that we have an inner joy, an ongoing joy that is not a temporal thing, not as a thing that comes and goes. But Paul is calling the people of Philippi, and us by example, to understand that in Messiah, in knowing the Messiah, being incorporated into the Messiah, being a Talmudim of Yeshua, that we have eternal joy because of our connection to him, because of the atonement he has offered, because of the new life we have, the empowerment of God's Ruach, the power of the Spirit of God in our lives, because of our connection to Yeshua, that we are to rejoice in union with the Lord always, that we are always to be filled with the joy of knowing the Messiah and knowing the life that only he provides. So there will be struggles in life as we see in chapter 1, verses 29, where Paul talks about the people having the privilege to suffer for the Messiah, that the life of following the Messiah is going to include difficulties. And for those in Philippi, there was even the true possibility of death as they were standing against the Roman cult, the cult of the emperor, that in their acknowledgement of Yeshua as Lord, they were rejecting the lordship of Nero, who was considered to be the savior and lord of the people, and was worshipped as a god by the people, the Romans. So they were making a decision that could cost them their lives. But Paul calls here also to have joy, knowing that at the end of the line there is Messiah Yeshua, there is life eternal, there is hope, even though there may be a sense of hopelessness in our world today, as we see our world getting darker and darker and more adverse to the God of Israel, more adverse to the word about Yeshua, righteous Messiah. But Paul says that even in all the difficulties of life, we have a rejoicing that we can have, if a inner rejoicing in whatever happens to us, whatever struggles we have, even if we are to lay down our lives for the Messiah Yeshua, that we have joy knowing that in him we have full atonement. We have life eternal waiting for us when we take our final breath, either by natural death or by martyrdom. We take that final breath and enter into life eternal with the Messiah Yeshua. Messiah Yeshua is there waiting for those who put their trust in him and are waiting there for the reward of life eternal, for those who've accepted the atonement of the Messiah, those who are in Messiah, those who've given their lives to the service of the Messiah. So there is rejoicing. Even though there's difficulty in life, there's rejoicing knowing that our connection to the Messiah, our life eternal, is secured in him who gave himself for us and offered us full atonement. The cause for the Philippians' rejoicing is in the good news that the Messiah will soon return, and then they, along with all the redeemed, will enter the Messianic kingdom and the new life forever with Yeshua. This assurance of death's defeat guarantees the righteous eternal reign of Messiah would begin. That with this, we see that death's defeat by the Messiah guarantees his eternal reign of Messiah over all the cosmos. By his sacrificial death, by his resurrection from the dead, by his conquering and defeating death, the greatest foe of humanity, guarantees his role as the one to rule over all. That defeating the great enemy death has secured his place secure the place of Messiah Yeshua to the place of ruler of all. And that is the hope, that is the joy, that death is defeated in Messiah Yeshua. Throughout this world, we've seen many of our friends and family members that have died because of COVID. I'm actually going to a memorial service for one of the guys I went to high school with on this weekend, and he was actually a year younger than me. So a couple of months ago I went to a memorial service of another fellow guy I went to school with who was a year older than me. So now I've had people that I spent high school with whose lives were taken by the COVID and they have left this world. But we know that death is defeated, and that is our joy. And that is what we rejoice in, is knowing that the Messiah has conquered death. And that is the source of great joy, and not a temporary joy, but an eternal lasting joy that we know that death has been defeated by Messiah Yeshua. In verse 5 and 6 we read, "Let everyone see how reasonable and gentle you are. The Lord is near. Don't worry about anything. On the contrary, make your requests known to God by prayer and petition with thanksgiving." In verse 6, Paul here is teaching the Philippians about the importance of prayer as a source of breaking from worry. The great counter to worrying is placing all concerns on God in prayer. Dr. David H. Stern, in his commentary on Philippians, made an interesting point that those who do not want to bring issues to God in prayer are showing pride in their unwillingness to release issues to God. So this really impacted me in my studies for my commentary. It was on this verse that Dr. Stearns sees that in this verse, Paul is saying those who do not take everything to God in prayer are doing it out of pride, which we see throughout the book, the theme of humility, and pride being the opposite of humility. So Paul here is saying that those who do not take everything to God in prayer are in essence showing pride, in essence saying, I have a friend who has COVID. That's a big issue. I'll take that to God in prayer. But, I'm concerned about this issue at work. Well, I can take care of that. In essence, by doing that, by not taking everything to God in prayer, in essence, we're saying, well, I can take care of these things. I'll take care of the small things. The big things I'll leave up to God. In essence, we're not showing our dependency on God. We're showing pride. We're basically showing that we see ourselves as, in essence, on par with God. That we will do some of the things. We'll pass the things that we are too much for us onto God. And this really is pride. This is pride in ourselves, saying that not in every issue do we need God, but only on the big issues. Someone as I said, with COVID, or someone who has been in an auto accident. We'll pray for that. But small issues in my life, whether dealing with family members, dealing with issues at work, I'll take care of them myself. I'll work harder on the issue of the issue of conflict at my office. But no, Paul here is saying, and Dr. Stern comments on this. That Paul here is speaking about the importance that we take everything to God in prayer, and in that we show our complete dependence on Him. That if things that we hold back from God in prayer, we're in essence saying, I'll take care of them myself. I can do this. I really don't need God in this one. But we need God in every aspect of our lives. We need to show our dependence on Him and bring everything to God in prayer. And that's one of the important things with Letter to Philippi. When I set up our web presence, our website, lettertophilippi.org, I wanted to make sure we had a link for prayer, so that those who come to our website, if they have an issue that needs to be prayed about, they can leave a prayer request, and I will pray for them. I will take them to other people who can pray for issues too. But the issues of bringing everything to God in prayer is so important, and it shows that we are we are showing our full dependence on God. It is in this time of supplicatory prayer that the Philippians can bring their heartfelt needs and concerns before God. These simple supplicatory prayers, like the ones Paul is recommending to the Philippians, will be later integrated into the daily Jewish liturgy of the Tachanun prayers. But Paul here, so we can see that even in the daily Jewish liturgy, there are these supplicatory prayers, the Tachanun, that bringing everything to God in prayer is so important. Part of the regular Jewish prayer service is the bringing of these concerns, these everyday concerns to God, that in doing so we show him that he is truly our God. We are dependent on him. We are not independent of God, but we are ones who are dependent on him, and he is the one that we can come to with all of our needs. So that will conclude our time looking today, and we will be looking at verses 7 through 9 tomorrow, which I entitled Call to Stand Firm in Their Faith. And that's chapter 4, verses 7 through 9. And that will conclude our time today. Thank you for watching. For those people watching live on Instagram, sadly, it looks like we lost our letter to Philippi link because the camera went down. But we're here live, continuing on my personal Sean Emslie Instagram. So that will conclude our time together. And for those who will be watching this later on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, blessings to you. And we'll conclude our time today. Thank you for watching. This is Letter to Philippi Live, coming to you daily at 12 p.m. Pacific Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 p.m. Jerusalem time. And if you want more information, go to lettertophilippi.org. You can, as I said, you can leave a question. You can leave a prayer request. I'll be praying for you, as we talked about how important bringing everything to God in prayer is today. You can purchase a copy of my Messianic commentary on Philippians, which is what the series of teachings is based on. You can make a much-needed financial contribution to our work, either a one-time contribution, or even better, if you can make a monthly contribution to keep the work of Letter to Philippi going as we continue to add new initiatives to this work to bring together solid Messianic Jewish, theologically based teaching on the scriptures. Starting here with the book of Philippians, which is our theme book, our theme book that our philosophy is based on, that we seek to lift up Yeshua in the context of Jewish life, in the context of respect and honoring of the Torah, and in context with the Jewish community, that we look to bring together the words of the scriptures within the context of understanding them from a solid Messianic Jewish theological perspective, where we can understand the scriptures as they were given to the people, the original people that received them. Here we're looking at the book of Philippians, those in Philippi, and how we today can take these words into our own lives in 21st century Messianic Judaism. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you back tomorrow as we continue and look at Paul bringing a call to stand firm in the faith. So thank you for watching. Shalom for now. Again, go to lettertophilippi.org, and we will see you tomorrow. Shalom.